Hello and welcome to this episode of Motivating Moments Podcast. I am your host, Pastor Steve. So excited to share this time together with you today. As always, we welcome you in. Hey, I want to talk to you today. If you have ever started a project and it not found its completion, I want to talk to you today. If you've ever just got bogged down in the mire of getting something done, I want to talk to you today about being out in the middle. Before we get into our content today, however, I just want to invite you, if you would please consider a like and a share. If you're watching this on YouTube, a like and a subscribe. If you're listening across any platform, if you could leave a rating and review, that would help us get the word out, because I've got a sneaking suspicion that there are a lot of people right now who are really struggling in the middle, and I want to help as many people as possible, and you can be a part of that. Otherwise, I want you to grab a cup of coffee, a pen, paper, and get ready to take some notes, and let's see if we can get you encouraged and motivated today to maybe pick up someplace that you left off a long time ago, but you know it's still a worthy cause, and see if we can get you across the finish line today. So, we often start so many things with the grandest enthusiasm, don't we? I mean, with just the thought of something new and it excites us. It's thrilling. We can't wait. There's a little bit of an adrenaline rush around it, and we just get fired up, and we are going to just take the world by storm with this new thing that we're endeavoring to do. And we love to do that because in our mind's eye we see ourselves ending up with this great sense of accomplishment at the finish. And I smile a little bit when I say at the finish, because between the beginning and the finish, there's this nasty, nasty, nasty place called the middle. Let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm a big picture thinker. I have no problems with looking at something, taking an assessment of what is, and also having a vision for what could be. I'm a bit of a visionary. I love to dream about what could be, and I love the thrill of starting new things to see those could be's come to fruition. I'm also a number 3 on the Enneagram, which, if any of you have ever taken that test, you know that means that I'm an achiever. So I get a great sense of satisfaction from accomplishing a task. As a matter of fact, I get such a rush from completing a task that I will add things to my to-do list that I've already done just for the satisfaction of marking it off. I know that is weird, 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 but that's me. And I will proudly wear that badge because I do that. I will add things to the to-do list just for the gratification of marking them off. But in the middle, however, for me is a place where disciplines and self-talk have to be a very, very intentional part of my life. In the middle, for me, is a place where dreams and visions might perish if the appropriate care is not given to their nurture. It can die on the vine. And in the middle is where I find that the trip is a little longer than we estimated. I mean, we can only estimate so much, on a journey that we've never taken. So we find sometimes that the trip is a little longer than we estimated, the sacrifice a little deeper than we prepared to offer, and maybe the tax on our minds and emotions a little more severe and of a penalty than we had prepared to pay. And I've got to be perfectly honest with you today and just say that I don't do so well in the middle. Now, maybe you are one of those detailed oriented people and you're just all you love to get in the weeds of it all and just gut it out. That's not me. And I do have a feeling that I'm not alone. So if you're one of those people who loves the details and loves gutting it out from points A to B, and you just love things in the middle and just really get excited about the minutia, God bless you, and pray for the rest of us because we have a hard time in that space and we need you. And we'll talk about that a little more later on in today's episode. But we do need you. But I've got a feeling I'm not alone in this. And I want to encourage your hearts today. Because the reason I want to encourage you in this, the reason that I'm so adamant that you hear and receive this message today is that the only reason that we ever left the starting block, the only reason that we ever ventured out into a new thing is because we had a desire for something better. It's a sense of restlessness that was in our hearts, and hopefully that sense of restlessness was birthed by a sense of the Lord's leading for our lives. And as we think about this idea of people just stepping out into new things because they weren't satisfied with their current context, or they knew that there was something greater, something better somewhere, our history is full of just replete with so many illustrations. You know, we could talk about the pilgrims exploring a new land to get away from religious persecutions and oppressions, and we could talk about the American Revolution, how that the colonists revolted against the grievous tax situations and all of those. We could look at the Civil War era. Certainly, we need to, consider that there was a better way. There was a better way of governing our land and having equality for people. And we could look even at beyond that to the civil rights movement. People like Martin Luther King Jr. and others that just said, no, 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 there is a better way for our people, and we're just going to stand up for that. And this is the reason why history is filled with innovators and inventors, is because somebody looked at a situation, saw a need, and said, "Listen, there's a better way. There's a better way to do this. There's a better way to handle this situation, and I believe I have a vision for what could be." And they launch out. So before you dismiss yourself from this narrative because you don't surmise yourself to be in any particular bondages, or the affairs of your life don't seem quite as monumental as the burdens that led to the American Revolution or the Civil War, let me assure you that you may very well be here in principle. And you may not be as oppressed as some have been. You might not be living such a burdensome life as some have. Your circumstances may not be as dire as many. But I want you to remember that this is not a message about the beginning. This is a message about the middle. And we've left where we once were. We've ventured into new things by faith believing, but we're not yet where we're going to be. And under the sound of my voice, I have little doubt that I'm speaking to some people who have a sense of unease with where you are right now. And I'm speaking to people for whom your current state carries with it a bit of dissatisfaction. I believe that I could be speaking to someone for whom there's been birthed a cry in your heart that yearns for something different, something more, something fuller, something deeper than what you are currently experiencing. And I'm encouraging you today because at some point, you're going to have to break away from what is and begin the faith journey towards what you believe could be. And it's often in the middle of that journey that the journey itself may appear pointless. Truth is that in order for you to venture into new things, you've got to let go of the former things, the things that you know, the things that you're comfortable with, and embrace the unknown. That's tough. That's scary. That is also something that's just a few steps in. I mean, you really don't even get a chance to experience any kind of rhythms or context with the new thing before you have to let go of the old thing. And sometimes when we're in that space, it doesn't matter how clear the call, how firm the logic, how sound the reasoning. We are going to look back in our journey at some point and say, why did I ever move? Why did I ever let go of what I had in the former time to embrace this thing that as yet has not come to fruition in my life? And I don't know if it's ever going to pan out the way I envisioned it or not, but this is where I'm headed. And I'm talking to someone right now that you're struggling through that degree program. You weren't satisfied. You aren't satisfied with where you are right now. And the truth is, you're not sure that obtaining the degree is going to get you where you want to be. All that you know in the moment is that it's costing you. You've had to let go of your Netflix binges. You've had to let go of some of your rest at night. You've had to make some very crucial choices where you've had to release certain things in life to embrace this new venture. And in that place of uncertainty, the course load is suggesting to you that it's totally not worth it. Right now, as you're weighing out the course load and you're weighing out the sacrifices, you're going, I don't know if I can still see it or not. I don't know if I've still got, all the logic in order that leads me to this place. And honestly, in the middle is a great place to assess our why. Because if you don't have a big enough why, the whats are really irrelevant. If you don't have a big enough why, then stop. Don't torture yourself. Don't just sacrifice needlessly. But if you have a strong, solid why, you'll find that that why is what you stand on a lot of times. Why did you leave your place of comfort? What was it about where you were that made you so dissatisfied that you said, I've got to launch out into something different? What was the vision of the things to come that compelled you to move forward in the first place? Is it worth it? Well, if not, you might need to reassess your priorities and your goals, maybe exercise some humility and go back to where you were. But if you've gone through that process of assessment and you know that you just can't go back, you just can't go back. I'm talking to somebody right now. I may even be speaking to someone right now who's in an abusive relationship. You may be living in a situation right now that the thought where you are is horrific. Where you are is abusive. Where you are is taxing you mentally, emotionally, spiritually. But it's just the letting go for the unknown, and you don't know what lies out ahead, but there's a gnawing on the inside of you that definitely, for sure, something is out there. Something better is out there. And if you believe that, if that why resonates, and if you've made the assessment and truly concluded that it is worth it, and I believe for most of you, the assessment is going to prove that your pursuits are a worthy cause, then you need to hold fast to that vision, and you need to press ahead. Listen, the middle's hard. The middle's messy. The middle, the middle will make you cry. The middle will make you just almost nauseous sometimes as you're standing in that place. And it's in the middle, the places where we leave also can look better than it was. Don't forget that. If you're in the middle of the mess right now, just all of the bog and all of the quagmire that you get into in the middle, sometimes we can just cast a rearward glance and we think that the place that we were was better. Sometimes it's not so much better, it was just more comfortable. It was familiar. That's all it was. It was just familiar. Now we're trotting towards the unknown, and that's very difficult. Uh, but one of the things that most skews our vision of where we're going is the fact that when we're in the middle, the place where we can uh, see those things behind us, we remember what those were, but we haven't yet seen what is to come, it gets really hard. And, the middle's not where I wanted to be, but it's definitely not where we're comfortable. In the middle, we face some fierce and wearisome battles. We're going to have to answer a lot of questions to ourselves, to other people. We're going to have to sacrifice, and we're just really going to have to win the war. If you don't have to win the war anywhere else, if it's not coming at you from without, it will definitely come at you from within. There'll be battles on the field of your mind. There'll be battles in your emotions. You will assess your own stupidity at greatly exaggerated degrees, but don't stop. Don't give up. Don't give in. And in the middle, too, as we're facing those wearisome battles, we learn the value of having a support system. I talked about some of you people earlier that you just love the detail and you love weeding through the stuff, and yeah, you're not that much of a visionary, but you love for somebody to give you a plan and you want to work that plan, and you love the plan. Again, God bless you. We need you. We need you, because the visionaries who really have a hard time and struggle in the middle, it's a hard life. Point A to point B. Point A is fabulous because it's exciting, it's full of adrenaline. Point B is a rush because we get to check off the to-do list. But that little hyphenated area there in between is something else. And we need some of you around who are really detail oriented to be our strong support system. We need some coaches and encouragers and some people on the sidelines that are rooting us on, and some people who will get in the middle of the mess with us and help remind us of why we left the places of comfort in the beginning. This is one final thing here that I want to leave with you today, and that is this: that as difficult as the middle is, I want you to understand this, that in the middle is where the true victories are won. We don't win the victory launching off the starting block. We didn't ultimately win the victory checking off the to-do list. The victory was won day after day as we overcame obstacles, as we faced discouragement, as we questioned ourselves and ridiculed our own choices in life. Those are the places where the victories are won. Those are the places where ultimately you're strengthened and encouraged so greatly. And I just want to encourage you, if I can, to hang on to that. And at the end of it all, though, you find out why you had to go through the middle. I despise the middle when I'm in it, but I do so appreciate it after I've passed beyond it. Because after I've passed beyond and I get to the finish line, I'm able to look back at my experience, and you should always look back at your experiences. And I'm able to see the victories that I've won. I understand better the lessons that I learned in that season and how they apply to my life, how that they've helped to grow me and make me a better person. And not only that, but I have a higher value of where I am in the present when I better understand the journey that had to be taken to get me to where I am in the present tense. And I believe you'll do that too. Listen, I want to encourage you, and I want you to know that I'm praying for you, and I am believing. Every time I see a download on this podcast, I just say, Lord, bless whoever's listening to this today. Let them be encouraged. And I pray that you, if you're in the middle, know that I'm praying for you now. I encourage you. I know that you had a great vision when you left the starting block. And I believe that God is going to work all things together for your good, and He's going to propel you forward to that purpose that was birthed in your heart by His Holy Spirit. Listen, I'm looking forward to hearing great reports back from you. If this was an encouragement to you, would you just leave us a word in the comments? If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also visit motivatingmoments.online and get in contact with us that way. I would love to get an email from you or just something letting me know that you're here and how the podcast is blessing you. Until next time, I look forward to being with you, and I'll be praying for you. And hey, you stay strong and keep motivated in Jesus' name. God bless you.